I'm Jeanine Nodder, and you're watching Chattin' with Jeanine. My guest this week is you, the audience. I've never done a solo show before. We'll see how this works out. A while back, I had put out on Facebook, send me your tips if you're a tightwad. How do you save money? And then I had the Tightwad 1 show where I had a couple of guests, and we ended up talking so much that I never got to any of the comments that people sent in to me. So you'll notice that my email address is at the bottom of the screen. Write it down. It's the name of the show, Chattin' with Jeanine. There's no G. It's very laid back. chattinwithjeanine@yahoo.com. And it all started, the idea for this show, from this book, which I mentioned on the first episode, Rosie the Riveter's Recipes. Because back in World War II, where everything was rationed, people had to make do with what they had. Patrick J. Buchanan, he's a figure from politics, but his book, his very first book was called Right from the Beginning. Nothing to do with politics. It was about growing up in a very large Catholic family. And his family would take their sugar ration, combine it, and they could bake a cake. People with smaller families didn't have as much sugar. They couldn't make any cakes. So just things along those lines are in this book. Things you can do to substitute sugar. On the first show, I'd mentioned in this book that they're carrot leaves. You take them off and you can dry them out in the oven and then sprinkle them into soups or whatever to add flavor. Well, I tried it since we taped that show, and you really can taste the carrot in the leaves. Who knew? So now I have a little container of dried carrot leaves that I've been adding to my salads. So getting back to this, and please send me your tips, because I would like this to be a continuing show within a show. Tips for tightwads. So Diane Marie Pruner was the first one to answer my call to send me the tightwad tips. She says, I put dryer lint in paper towel and toilet tissue cardboard rolls for wood stove and fire starters. Wow, that's a good idea. She also uses coffee grounds for plants and ants. I knew about plants, but not the ants. She uses grocery bags for cat litter and dog droppings. Oh yeah, I use all those for picking up dog mess. She uses the back of junk mail envelopes, constantly writing notes. Of course, that reminds me of my mother, because she used to write notes on everything, and there were like little notes everywhere. She'd tuck them behind the telephone, because I'm from way back in the 1900s where we didn't have cell phones. We had phones on the wall and you couldn't go anywhere. You were stuck there by the wall talking on the phone, and tucked behind her phone were all these little notes from junk mail. She'd write everything. That was my mom. She also had rubber bands on every doorknob because she might need them for something. So it got to be where you couldn't turn any of the doorknobs in the house because every one of them was full of rubber bands, because you never know when you might need one, which turned out to be, we never needed them. I don't have rubber bands on my doorknobs. And I don't have junk mail lying around with notes on it. We recycle things now. Getting back to Diane Marie Prunier, she says, in the past I donated baby food jars and yogurt cups to charter schools for crafts and little terrariums. That's a good idea. And this reminds me of Ronald Reagan. I had the opportunity to go to the Reagan Ranch and to see where the White House, the second White House, and he was a bit of a tightwad. In the garage, I kid you not, screws and bolts were all housed in empty Skippy jars, and I have a picture of it. I mean, the President of the United States, and he was a tightwad. How about that? Bob Bevel of Merrimack says, they always ask for double bags for groceries so they can reuse them to line the trash cans. Good idea. One of my colleagues said, tightwads don't give good tips. Touché. Mark Lavasser of Merrimack, he had quite a bit to say. He says, I believe this is at Shaw's, digital deals as warranty for getting deals like $6 a pound for steak instead of $10. Newspapers are good for cleaning windows. I knew that. And lining the bird cage. Oh, yeah. We used to have a bird, and I would use the newspaper to line the cage, and one day I wasn't paying attention to what I was putting on the bottom of the cage, and then to my horror, I went, oh, my friend had her picture in the paper, and my bird rather, soiled her face. Oh, gosh, I just feel so bad about that. Also, newspapers, you can put it down before the mulch. It helps keep the weeds from coming up. Oh, and I wrote that down. See, I didn't see that. I don't know how to say this man's name. His name is Steve, and he spells his last name Focht. I'm afraid to mispronounce it because he says he reused paper bags for lunches. Oh, yes. Yeah. Growing up in the 70s, we always brought our lunch bags home, and they were very, very wrinkled, and we used them until they could not be used anymore because there was a hole in them. Linda Ray Camarada, who lives in Bedford, says she bought 12 by 12, 100% cotton white cloths at the dollar store and uses them instead of paper towels in the kitchen. Yeah, you know, during COVID, there were people that used cloths instead of toilet paper. Thankfully, I've always shopped in bulk when it comes to toilet paper, and thank God we never ran out of toilet paper because yeah, that's not for me. Oh, and that's what I wrote in the next thing. See, I'm ahead of myself on these notes. Page 2, Marie Berry of Merrimack. She says, select a size paper towels. The smaller towel does the job. She's right about that. I've noticed that myself. Microfiber cloths instead of paper towels. Buy nothing on Facebook. Oh my gosh, what a great, I don't know what you call it, thing on Facebook. We'll just call it a thing. Buy nothing on Facebook. People are always giving things away. I put things on there. I had 5 puzzles I put on there, and within 10 minutes, somebody was ready to pick them up. They pass unneeded items on to others and keeping reusable items out of the landfill. I've gotten a lot of things off of Buy Nothing on Facebook. Marie Berry says she recycles everything she can. Oh, everybody. I think everybody does these days. Hannaford's has a bag recycling bin. Oh, that's good to know. She uses plastic bags for dog messes. Yeah, a lot of us do that. And food scraps before I throw them away. Yes, I put the food scraps too. Actually, it would be nice to have a compost pile. You know, all those scraps can go into the compost pile. I haven't quite gotten into that yet, but I would like to, because then you can put that out on your plants and it's good for them. Okay, Lynette Peterson. Some of you know that name. She was a state representative she was first elected in 2010. She served 2 terms, and then she went on to host Late Night with Lynette right here on Merrimack TV. This is what she told me. I spit the mouthwash back in the bottle. Just kidding, just wanted to gross you out. So I told her, okay, you did, but you told me that, so I'm going to say it on the air, and now I have. Love you, Lynette. Lee, oh geez, Lee, how do you say your last name? Musicoff. Musicoff? I believe he's a Merrimack man. He said, my father grew up during the Depression. He makes a Scotsman look like a spendthrift. I'm Scotch-Irish on my dad's side. Tanner Carroll, she was the scrapbook lady, but she's since moved to Texas. She saves plastic containers from takeout and reuses them. Oh yeah, we do too. And people save them and take them places wherever you go. There's always leftovers. You can reuse them. I do that too, but I don't know how healthy that is. Single-use plastic shed microplastics that stays in us. I would like to see usage guidelines. Yeah, I've heard this before too, that those single-use plastics, you're really not supposed to use them again, but they can be recycled. It's something to look into. Kathy Steinmetz is my pastor's wife. She seldom orders food in and rarely goes out to eat. Can't say the same. She tries saving in other areas. Going out to eat is a nice treat. Yeah, it's nice, and sometimes it's just, you know, who wants to cook every night? You know, and if you want to keep a clean kitchen, tip of the day, don't cook. Katie Peternell, I think that's how you say her. Katie Peternell, what is she? She is the advisor to the speaker at the State House. She quit buying cream for her coffee to save money. She makes soap, bakes bread, makes her own laundry soap, renders suet into tallow, which is basically free cooking oil, and uses it in making soap. Okay. Senator Victoria Sullivan also makes soap, and she's going to be a guest on the show coming up sometime this year. Max Abramson, also a former state rep, now lives in Merrimack, voiced about a straight Republican ticket. State and local taxes and unemployment rates are nearly 40% lower in states that maintain Republican state legislatures. Okay, not really what I was looking for this show, but hey, he sent in the tip and I said I would read it on the air, and I've done it. Tammy Garthwaite, however you say her name, she used to be Tammy Simmons when she was a state rep. She lives in Manchester, and she tries not to buy anything new. Okay, well, somebody's gotta. Oh, Barbara Healy. She was a town councilor before they moved to Florida. She stopped using plastic wrap. She buys aluminum foil, washes it, and reuses it. My mother did that too, and I have to say I do that as well. She saves jars from sauce, wax paper bags from cereal, uses them to store bread and quick breads when she makes them. Oh, what a good idea. Well, we really don't eat cereal though. But if you do, you can reuse that plastic wax paper bag inside. How about that? David Peters of Amherst says he pulls boards out of dumpsters, pulls nails out of the boards, bangs the nails straight again to reuse. My dad did that. I do remember him pulling nails out and then hammering them straight and using them again. Wow. Nick Freedom, that's not her real name, but that's who she is on Facebook. She plans meals around the sales and coupons of the week at the local grocery store. I did this when my kids were small, and I think I mentioned this on Tightwad 1, the first show. And I was telling a couple this just yesterday. That, we didn't have any money. We got married so young, we weren't even 20. We would get the Sunday paper only, because back in the 80s, they had tons of coupons in the Sunday paper. I would look at the sale ad, what was on sale at the store that week. I'd circle what was on sale, and then I'd look to see what I had a coupon for to get additional savings. It really worked, and I had to do it that way. And this couple I was talking to yesterday said they still do that. I'm like, wow, they still look at the sale ad. They plan their whole week based on what's on sale. And I've heard that, a lot of people that they have money. That's why they have money, because they are very careful and frugal with their money, and that includes looking to see what's on sale and planning your meals around that. When I was a freshman in high school, I had a wonderful teacher, Linda Terabasi. And when I first ran for office, she wrote a letter for me to the paper, and she said she's been waiting years to be able to write this letter. She was just a really good teacher, and I've kept in touch with her all these years. Most years I write a Christmas letter, I send it to her, she grades it. One year I got a B, I had to rewrite it and add some more things. And she's turning 75 this year. I'm gonna go visit. I'm just a quick trip, but I have to go to her party. She wrote in as well. She said, well, for years my dad told me, pay off those damn credit cards. Both parents drilled it in me. Don't buy what you can't pay for. When it's cold, I keep the heat at a minimum and dress in layers. She lives in California. Come on. They think they have winter, but we all know they don't have winter. Yeah, there's our springtime, that's a California winter. I keep the AC at 80 and run fans. She leaves the credit cards at home. Well, the debate right now is some places won't take your cash. So what do? That's a story for another day. I should do a show on that, because legal tender, I think, should be legal tender and accepted places, not. Okay, getting off on a tangent here. Some of you may remember Dave McCrae. He lived in Merrimack. I think he moved, I'm not sure. But he said he learned from his father, cut open the toothpaste tube once it appears empty and get a few more uses from it. Okay, turn all the bottles upside down, like the laundry soap. I do that all the time, turn the laundry soap upside down, lotion, just whatever, soap, and you can get another wash out of that. And I already wrote that. Again, I'm ahead of myself. Wow, this is easier than I thought. I already mentioned that my mother saved everything. Rubber bands went on doorknobs till the knob no longer could rotate. She had a collection of lids. They didn't go to anything, but you didn't know. You might need it for something. She saved scraps of paper, had the little notes on it. I already mentioned this. Around the wall mounted telephone, scraps of paper in one corner. Yep, all those little scraps of paper. She bought milk in the half-gallon containers. And when it was empty, you would not believe how much that woman could stuff into that half-gallon container. That was the trash can in our house growing up. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. She would stuff it in. I don't know how she managed. It was a heavy brick before it went outside in the garbage can. Grade school economics scenario. Grocery store looking at ice cream and prices. Cheapest versus quality. I think that's a note I wrote to myself. Because I remember in grade school we were talking about economics, and I remember the picture in this textbook. They showed somebody looking at ice cream trying to decide what to buy. The cheaper one or the better quality one. And then we had a long discussion on quality versus price. That's a whole other show, I think. Walk by something in the store. You see something you like, ooh, I like that. Walk away. Now, if you keep going back, if you go back 3 times, then it's in the cards that maybe it was meant for you to buy it. $10 coupon for jockey. Okay. Well, I save $10 if I use the coupon, but if I don't use the coupon, I save even more money by not spending any money at all. That was a little note I wrote myself. And I reached the ends of my notes, so that was a 20 minutes. So let's go back to Rosie the Riveter, because I see I've got some Post-it notes here. And extending meals containing minimal available meat with grains and fiber. Oh, so if you're making a meatloaf and you can add grains and fiber and make it last longer. Stretch and substitute butter with margarine. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. Yeah. Substitute sugar with molasses or honey. That I could follow. Or maple syrup. Make stews. I like stews. Eat more fruits and vegetables. Definitely. Grow your own fruits and vegetables. A victory garden. Can excess foods. Eat salads. Yes. Make vegetables, eggs, cheese, and grains center stage. That's good for some. Rose, why do I have this? I think I wanted to cook this. That's why. That's just some recipes. There's a lot of recipes in here. And then in the back of the book, we talked about carrot soup. Yeah, well, the carrot roll, tops of the carrots, and appendix. So I can't read everything in here, but I'm just really glad I bought this book. I've really been enjoying this. So now, at the end of the show, tell me how I did. This was my first solo show. I gave you all the tips that other people have sent in to me, and now I'm ready for you to send me your tips. chattingwithjeanine@yahoo.com. And if you'd like, you can be a guest on the show. Tightwad 3, Tightwad 4, it's a show within a show. Let's save money and make our dollars stretch. Send me your tips, send me an email, and you too can be sitting next to me on the stage here at Merrimack TV. See you next time.